Hi there, welcome to edupediaworld.com. You're watching the videos on probability. So in this video, we'll discuss some of the more examples related to probability, which are very important from the exam point of view. So you have to watch this part of the video again very carefully. So let's get started with the first example. The example says that on one page of a telephone directory, there were 200 telephone numbers and the frequency distribution of the unit place digit, for example, let's say we have a number 25828573. So its unit digit is 3, right? So we have to find the probability that how many the telephone numbers have a unit digit place 3 out of the 200 telephone numbers. So this is actually the question. So the frequency is given the table. Let's say these are given the digits. Let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these are the frequencies given. Let's say we have a unit digit 3 and the frequency is 22. What we need to do is, we need to, let's say, without looking at the page, let's say we don't have to look at the page, the pencil is placed on one of these numbers, that is the number is chosen at random. So the number is chosen at random, let's say any number it can come. What is the probability that the digit in its unit place is 6? So we have to find that what is the probability that the unit digit with the telephone numbers, let's say we have 200 telephone numbers and the unit digit comes out to be 6. So we have to find the probability for coming the unit digit place 6. So let's see how we can solve this question. Now, the probability of digit 6 being in the unit place, it will be frequency of 6 upon total number of selected telephone numbers. This means we need to select the frequency for number 6. So this is a number 6 and we have a frequency as 14. So this means we need to write 14 in numerator. Then we need to write total number of selected telephone numbers. So there were 200 telephone numbers. So we need to write 200 over here. So when we divide it, it comes out to be 7 by 100. So this will be 0.07. So we can say that probability of unit digit coming out, it will be 0.07. So this is how we have to solve the questions for probability when the table is given. So let's move on to the next example. Question says that the record of weather station shows that out of the past 250 consecutive days, its weather forecasts were correct 175 times. Actually, the question trying to say that they analyzed the 250 consecutive days and for the weather forecast, and there was 175 times that the weather forecast was correct, right? So this is, we can say it's efficiency or the system efficiency, whatever we can say it, but this is the data given. Now first question says that what is the probability that on a given day it was correct, and the second question says that what is the probability that it was not correct on a given day. So let's see. So first of all, we need to write the total number of days for which the record is available is 150. So for the first question, we can write P, the forecast was correct on a given day. It will be equals to number of days when the forecast was correct upon total number of days for which the record is available. So this means we need to write how many days the forecast was correct. It was 175 times. And the total number of days for the data which is given, it is 250. So when you divide it, it will come out to be 0.7. So let's see how we can solve the second part. So second part says that we need to find when the probability it was not correct on the given day. So we can write P, the forecast was not correct on a given day. So we can write it as 75 upon 250. There is given that 175 times the forecast were correct. So we can say that number of days forecast was not correct. It can be 250 minus 175, right? So this will come out to be 75. So this means we have number of days in which the forecast was not correct. It will be 75 days. So we can write the probability for the forecast was not correct on a given day is 75 upon 250. So when you divide it, it will come out to be 0.3. The way to check the probability is that when we sum these two probabilities, it should come out to be 1. Why? Because only two events can happen out of the given data. Whether it can happen or it will not happen. Let's say in this data, whether the forecast will be correct or whether the forecast will not be correct. So we can write probability forecast was correct plus probability forecast was not correct. It will come out to be 0.7 plus 0.3. So this will come out to be 1. So this is how we can check the probability and we can solve these type of examples. So let's move on to the next example. Example says that tire manufacturing company kept a record of the distance covered before the tire needed to be replaced. The table shows the results of 1000 cases. So there were 1000 cases. It's a tire manufacturing company and it kept the record that the distance covered, let's see how much distance a tire can travel before it needs to be replaced. Now if you buy a tire of this company, what is the probability that it will need to be replaced before it has covered 4000 kilometers? This is the first part we need to solve. And the second part, it says that it will last more than 9000 kilometers. And the third part says that it will need to be replaced after it has covered somewhere between 4000 kilometers and 14000 kilometers. So let's see how we can solve this question. So first let's write the total number of trials is 1000. So this means we need to add all this frequency. Let's say 20 plus 210 plus 325 plus 445. So when you add them, it will come out to be 1000. So this is a total number of trials. It's given that the frequency of tire that needs to be replaced before it covers 4000 kilometer, it is 20. It's given that less than 4000, it's 20. However, what we need to find is tire is replaced before it has covered 4000 kilometers. So this means how we can find the first question. Probability that tire to be replaced before it covers 4000 kilometers equals to 20 by 1000. So it will come out to be 0.02. So this is a probability for the first part that a tire needs to replace before it covers 4000 kilometers. We need to solve the second part. It will last more than 9000 kilometers, right? If we see the data very properly, less than 4000 is 20, 4000 to 9000. This means 4000 to less than 9000, or we can say 4000 to 9000 kilometers. It is 210. We need to find it will last more than 9000. This means it will start from 9001, right? So this means we need to check this data and this data. So what's the frequency? Let's say we can write frequency of tire that needs to be replaced, that it covers more than 9000 kilometers. It will come out to be, we need to add 325 and 445. So it will be 325 plus 445. So when you add this, it will come out to be 770. Now we can write the probability that tire will last more than 9000 kilometers. It will be 770 upon 1000. So it will come out to be 0.77. So this is how we can solve the second question, right? Now the last and the third part is it will need to replace after it has covered somewhere between 4000 to 14000 kilometers. So this means somewhere between 4000 to 14000 kilometers. So this is 4000 to 9000 and this is 9001 to 14000. So this means the tire frequency should come between these two datas. First of all, for the third part, we need to find the frequency. So we can write frequency of tire that needs to be replaced after it covered distance between 4000 to 14000 kilometer. So this will be, we need to add 210 plus 325. So when you add this, it will come out to be 535, right? So now we need to find the probability. So we can say that the probability that tire requires replacement between 4000 to 14000 kilometer. So it will be 535 upon 1000. So it will come out to be 0.535, right? So these are the probabilities. Now the last step is we need to check the probabilities. So whether we have done it correct or not. So what we need to do is we need to add all the probabilities. But however, in this question, we cannot add all these three probabilities. Why? Because its question is saying that it will be needed to replace before it has covered 4000. So this part. Now more than 9000, right? So it covers this part, right? Then it asked 4000 to 14000. So this part, if you can see properly, we are covering it twice, right? So we cannot add all these three probabilities because we have covered this part thrice to check whether the probability is correct or not. So you have to be very careful when you are adding the probabilities and we are checking that whether we have done it correct or not, right? So you have to see what kind of probabilities we have done in the question. So in the end, I can say that thank you once again for watching this video on edupediaworld.com. Keep watching further videos. Have a nice day ahead.